Third time's the charm on this video thing, and it's driving me freaking crazy at this point. While the war continues with Iran, Trump is dragging us into the pits of despair and the pits of hell. 7 o'clock in the morning, West Coast time, March 17th, 2026, for a Tuesday. And we are seeing things that are driving us insane. It's bad enough we have to celebrate an international heritage that people can claim for a little bit, for one day, of eating corned beef, boiled potato, and cabbage. And we're still dealing with the war of Iran from one power-hungry, mad asshole who wants the world. Screaming and yelling at the United Nations he wants help from them after condemning, cajoling, and ridiculing everybody. Now he wants to get fucking help for a screw-up he's made because he feels the world owes him one or something? I don't get it with the old Johnny boy. Except he's fucking out of his mind. And this morning, while they're talking about Israel and Iran getting bombed again, not to mention our U.S. Embassy, one of them abroad, I think out in Iraq, in the safe zone, getting blasted. But I'm supposed to be American at this point, red, white, and blue. No, on this day I'm supposed to be Irish. Irish were considered the dumping grounds, like the Chinese were. It was just slaves. They weren't worthy of anything. The stigma lasted for centuries on these guys. But they were also the heritage from England, Scotland, go further back. How about the Normans? How about the Vikings of the northern lands? Exploring, conquering, setting up camp, setting up villages. And yet they would conquer lands and also be conquered, but setting up generations to come for the people of Great Britain, Ireland, Scotland. But the Irish would be looked upon, fought against, and looked at more discouraging acts and reactions. The Irish back then, centuries ago, was a dirty, rotten shame. But for the Irish, they looked at themselves with a hell of a lot of pride. They have their own legends, their own folk tale, their own heritage, something to grasp. It wasn't in the 1900s to right now we're trying to celebrate what it is to be Irish. Despite the fact they're coming abroad, trying to escape their own little destitute places, hoping that America would give them a lot of advantages. These days, maybe. But with the current regime we've got in place, I doubt it. But we have to celebrate being Irish. But the funny brogue and the boiled food and the cultural history that spans for centuries, their own legends. For a country split apart, part of it its own territory and a small northern portion theoretically belonging to the British Isles, where for a long while they fought for independence. Bloody after bloody after bloody. A song came out in the 80s concerning about a Bloody Sunday massacre. And others were talking about war. How will they celebrate us in the United States for declaring war on the world? Just because we got to burp our ass through a president who doesn't know his ass from a hot rock. I look at the images, what the reporters talk about, what's being put out there to the public. Is it artificial, or is it explosive in nature where it's terrifying as hell? Where people get hit and killed, but celebrated as victories. I don't feel my Irish heritage. I don't feel like celebrating the green. I don't feel like putting on a green and trying not to get pinched if they can't see the damn color. Maybe they're colorblind. It pisses me off that we have to have people dying because of ego. It's not about resources. It's about frickin' egos. I know other people have been talking about this one a great deal. Where an old fart's lunacy is putting the world at jeopardy. And we Americans voted the sons of bitches in office in November 2024. I will not forgive or forget what happened. In election cycle, it should have been putting someone else up who would have been creating peace. We now have chaos and confusion and insanity going on, not to mention war among people. Just because. Maybe we should have gotten blasted out of existence. We got a lunatic who wants to copyright and trademark the 250th birthday of the United States. Can't do it. But he wants to and put his name on it, it being Trump Day. He wanted on his birthday last year a military parade on his own natal birthday, which corresponded with the day that the United States Army came into being. And he wanted tanks, and he wanted soldiers obeying his every wish, like he'd seen other people in other countries that he visited. As they're doing their parade ceremoniously, he wants it, not ceremoniously, but he wants it all the time, where he's the commander-in-chief. His ego knows no bounds. On a day we're supposed to be celebrating a national heritage, just because we have this insanity going through us. I can't celebrate it. Well, what could I have celebrated it with? Well, let's see. I've got a green vest, and I've got corned beef in the refrigerator still that needs to be boiled. It needs to have a nice long 4 to 6 to nearly 8 hours of simmering before it disintegrates. And then, in the process, have to boil potatoes. If I'm fixing the corned beef, I'm going to be fixing it with mashed potatoes. Frozen vegetables. And not talk with an Irish brogue. I'm not talking about it with an Irish humor. I wake up not from lucid dreams. I wake up into a nightmare. I yearn the days when I actually had nightmares in my dreams, because they would have been more real to me of scaring the crap out of me, instead of what I wake up to, which is scaring the crap out of me even further. I used to have dreams of reptiles and of crustaceans chasing after my ass. Or arachnids. I live in a bug-infested world. my apartment that has spiders hiding about, have different bugs hiding about, has a roach infestation for nearly 2 to 3 years. I can't stand looking at seafood because it freaks me out. Not the ones with the fins on it. No, with the ones that have the crustaceans and the pincers ready to tear you off. Of course, we have land creatures to do that. But the sea creatures give me worse nightmares, or just about. Or the slithering kind that slither about there in the heat, looking for a cool place to hide from the heat. And if you happen to disturb them, they're quite deadly to the touch, especially with a fanged touch. And that, if you hear in the background, would be my pot of boiling water for my drink of either drinking tea or do I drink my coffee this morning. And no, it's not Irish. It's not Irish coffee. It's American coffee. But this is a day to celebrate an Irish heritage, part of my Irish genetics. July 4th is supposed to be where I celebrate the disgrace of the United States of 250 years building up to the point of the worst thing we could ever do to our country and to the rest of the world. How else am I not supposed to earmark this day? With corned beef and boiled potatoes and boiled cabbage, or drinking an Irish stout, or consuming a good Mulligan stew. Wouldn't that be darling? Wouldn't that be grand? Ah! That being said, me weekends, deal with this one.